distinguished shareholders, my co-directors, our regulators, and the general public, you are most welcome to Law Union's 51st Annual General Meeting. This is the first time we are having a meeting by proxy, and also it is the first time we are having a virtual meeting. In compliance with federal and state government's directives, the number of people present at today's meeting is within the limit of 50. In addition, we have taken all necessary precautionary steps, such as provision of hand sanitizers, face masks, face shields, and temperature checks. I'm very happy to know that all who are physically present have maintained more than appropriate social distancing space. Before we proceed with the business of the day, may we rise as we sing the national anthem, please. The national anthem, please. Thank you very much. I wish all of us a fruitful deliberation with the business of the day. Due to the current COVID-19 pandemic and government's directives to minimize social contact by restricting the number of persons at public gatherings, and also in compliance with Corporate Affairs Commission's guidelines on holding of annual general meeting using proxies, as provided by Section 230 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAB C20, Laws of Federal Republic of Nigeria, 2004, members have been duly advised that attendance at this meeting shall be only by proxy. The approval of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, was sought and obtained to hold the AGM in line with the guidelines on holding of AGMs of public companies using proxies. The following proxies were appointed by members to represent them at today's meeting. Please, when I call your name, kindly stand up for recognition, sir, please. The first person is Sir Sonny Nnamdi Nwozu, KSS, Shareholder Representative. Thank you, sir. Mr. Boniface Okeze, Shareholder Representative. Thank you, sir. Papa Chief Timothy Adeshion, Shareholder Representative. Thank you, sir. Mrs. Fumi Ekundayo, Independent Director. Thank you, madam. And my humble self, Remy Babalola, Chairman of the Board. The company made arrangements for the stamping of the duly completed proxy forms, cost of which was wholly borne by the company. All duly signed and stamped proxy forms are placed here for inspection. I hereby call on the registrars to announce details of the proxy forms received for this meeting. Yes, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, regulators here present, and distinguished shareholders of Union Rock Insurance Plc. I welcome you to the 51st Annual General Meeting of Union Rock Insurance Plc. As registrars, we are here to deliver the proxy report. We received a total of 509 duly executed proxies, amounting to 747,286,645 units of shares. And this constitutes approximately 87.22% of the issued share capital of the company. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The company secretary had earlier informed me that by Article 51 of the company's Articles of Association, the quorum for our AGM is 25 present in person or by proxy. Based on what we just heard, the quorum of this meeting is therefore formed. The meeting is streamed live via the company's website, www.lawunioninsurance.com, and on YouTube, www.youtube.com/watch, LUR51st AGM, to enable shareholders and all other stakeholders not attending the meeting physically to observe the proceedings. Before we continue the meeting, I have the pleasure of introducing my fellow directors and all our advisors here present at this meeting. My name is Remi Babalola. I'm the chairman of the board. Thank you. The managing director, Mr. Ademayo. Window, by honor of the board. It is my honor to introduce the shareholder members of the Statutory Audit Committee, Mr. Vitalis Anyem, who is here present with us. Mr. Tajuddin, I can actually see, but I'm not sure you'll be able to hear me. Statutory Audit Committee, Mr. Vitalis Anyem, who is here present with us. Mr. Tajuddin Adeshina and Mr. Sonny Dowu Abukodre, who are both participating virtually. They are watching us as we speak. The external auditors, Messrs. Deloitte and Touche, board evaluators, Messrs. J.K. Rando, and also the registrars, Cardinal Stone Registrars Limited. They are all duly represented. Thank you so much. Papa J.K. Rando, we appreciate you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I also like to recognize the presence of the representatives of the following regulatory bodies. Our primary regulator, the National Insurance Commission, represented by Mrs. Kemi Soni. Thank you, ma'am. The Nigerian Stock Exchange, represented by Mr. Bona Onwujo. I hope I got it right. Thanks. Yeah. The Securities and Exchange Commission by Mr. John Achille. You're welcome. Corporate Affairs Commission. I hope we have the representative of the corporate. Oh, madam, thank you so much. You are welcome, ma'am. Before I call upon the company secretary to read the notice convening this meeting, I would like to inform all members that the register of members is available for inspection during the meeting in accordance with Section 275, subsection 8 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, 1990 as amended. We appeal that when you wish to raise a motion, second a motion, raise a point, or make a comment, please state your name in full before speaking. This is to aid proper recording. I now request the Company Secretary to read the notice convening the meeting. Company Secretary, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And welcome, distinguished shareholders and our directors and the regulators. Notice is hereby given that the 51st Annual General Meeting of Law Union and Rock Insurance Plc will be held at the Shell Zenith Hall, Luzon Center, Marina, Lagos, on Thursday, 10th September 2020 at 10 a.m. to transact the following businesses. Ordinary business. 1, to receive and approve the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2019, together with the reports of the directors, auditor, and the audit committee thereon. To re-elect directors, that's business number 2. Item number 3, to reappoint auditors and authorize directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. Item number 4, to elect members of the statutory audit committee. So this notice is dated 28th day of July 2020. The notes to the meeting are highlighted on pages 6 and 7 of the annual report. I would like to highlight that the company made arrangements for the cost of the duly stamped proxy forms as mandated by the Corporate Affairs Commission. I would also like to bring our attention to the special notice on page 7 that in accordance with the provisions of section 252 and section 256 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990 as amended, this is to give notice, or notice has been given, that Mr. Kunle Aluko is 74 years old. A copy of this notice and other information related to the meeting can be found at our website, www.lawunioninsurance.com, by order of the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. By order of the board. Distinguished shareholders, with your kind permission, do you want me to read the chairman's statement, or it should be taken as read? We thank you. I hereby state that the chairman's statement is taken as read. For the sake of convenience and to enable us to take as many questions as possible and or comments on both my statements and the financial statement for the year ended at 1st December 2019, I will now refer to the first item on the agenda and call upon the auditor's representatives to read the report of the auditors. Our engagement partner, Mrs. Yetunde Odetayo, representing Deloitte & Touche, supported by Mrs. Christiana Dada. Our auditors, please. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and all protocols observed. My name is Yetunde Odetayo, and I'm here with my colleague, Michael Oshin. The audit report is found on pages 55 to page 58, but I'll crave your indulgence to take the first 2 paragraphs and the last paragraph. Independent auditors reports to the shareholders of Law Union and Rock Insurance Plc. From the shareholders. Sorry. Independent auditors reports to the shareholders of Law Union and Rock Insurance Plc. report on the auditor of the financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of Union Rock Insurance Plc, which comprise the statement of financial position as of 31st December 2019, the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flows for the year ended, and the notes to the financial statements, including a summary of the significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair review of the financial position of Union Rock Insurance Plc as of 31st December 2019, and the financial performance and cash flows for the year ended in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards, the Company and Allied Matters Act Cap C20 LFN 2004, the Insurance Act Cap I-17 LFN 2004, NICOM Circulars and Guidelines, and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011. Basis for our opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statements section of our report. We are independent of the company in accordance with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria Professional Code of Conduct and Guide for Accountants and other independent requirements applicable to performing audits of financial statements in Nigeria. We have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the ICANN Code and in accordance with other ethical requirements applicable to performing audits in Nigeria. The ICANN Code is consistent with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, Parts A and B. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The last paragraph reports on the other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the 6th schedule of the Company and Allied Matters Act, Cap C20 LFN 2004, and Section 28, Insurance Act, NICOM Circular and Guidelines, we expressly state that 1, we have obtained all the information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and belief are necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2, the company has kept proper books of accounts so far as appears from our examination of those books. 3, the company's financial position and its statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts and return. No evidence of non-compliance with laws and regulations was brought to our notice during the audit. And the no contraventions of any section of the Insurance Act, NICOM Circular and Guidelines was brought to attention during the audit. This report is signed on 25th of March 2020 on behalf of Juliet and Twitch. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mrs. Yetunde Odetayo, our engagement partner. I will also call on the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee, Mr. Vitalis Anyam, to present the report of the Statutory Audit Committee.
Good morning, everybody. My report is on page 54. Report of the Statutory Audit Committee to the members of Union and Rock Insurance Plc. In accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards, provision of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, Cap C20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, the Insurance Act, CAP, Cap 117 LFN, 2004, relevant policy guidelines issued by the National Insurance Commission, NICON, and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Act 2011. The members of the Statutory Audit Committee of Union and Rock Insurance Plc hereby report as follows through me. We have exercised our statutory function under Section 359, subsection 6 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, Cap C20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and we acknowledge the cooperation of the management and staff in the conduct of these responsibilities. We confirm that the accounting and reporting policies of the company are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices, and that the scope and planning of both the external and internal audits for the year ended 31st December 2019 were satisfactory and reinforce the company's internal control systems. We have deliberated with external auditors. We have confirmed that necessary cooperation was received from management in the course of their statutory audit, and we are satisfied with the management's response to the external auditor's recommendations on accounting and internal control matters, and with the effectiveness of the company's system of accounting and internal control. The report was signed by me on the 27th February 2020. Members of the Statutory Audit Committee are 1. Myself, the Chairman Vitalis Anyam. 2. Mr. Tajuddin Additional. 3. Mr. Abdulkadri Sani. 4. Mr. Folarin Famulusi. 5. Ms. Toyin Olusanya. 6. Mr. Obinna Onunkwo. The secretary to the committee has been Mr. Stanley Chikwendo. Thank you very much for the audience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Anyam. We appreciate you. Are there any questions shareholders would like to ask about the accounts or the company generally? We will take all the questions and comments as part of the positives of meeting by proxy, since we are not so many. So we take so many questions. Just let's make sure that all the questions and comments are in the best interest of the company. When any shareholder wants to raise any objection, any point of order, any comment, please, for the benefit of all the members that are here, and also because we are streaming all this live, we will appreciate if the shareholder will walk to the microphone there so that everybody can hear you. So let's start the comments and questions, please. Sanwuso. We also appreciate if the speakers will not touch the microphone.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you.
You want us to talk without touching the object. Okay, we'll try our best. The Chairman of LUR, Law Union and Rock Insurance PLC, distinguished directors, very distinguished shareholders. I can see the Otumba Rando, J.K. Rando, Passion, J.K. Rando, sitting down there. So I pay my respect to my old friend. Mr. Chairman, today it's a day that may not come again, except God wants it to come in the life of Law Union and Rock. I told my few friends here that I was not going to say much about the AGM itself, because the fact remains that whatever we are saying about the AGM as advice or advices on the AGM will not benefit us very clearly. I don't have to blame the directors of LUR, and I'm happy Nikon is here. The blame should go to Nikon, who is forcing Nigerians to sell off their investment in insurance companies. If they did not come with obnoxious regulation of recapitalization, and incidentally, I think they also happen to be one of the MDS that did not even audit their account for many years. But they still have the audacity to command, because they have what we call poisonous tongue, which can destroy institutions without consideration for the shareholders. What is in insurance? That we cannot have a small insurance company, a medium insurance company, and a big insurance company. Insurance is all about consortium. If you are able to get a big ticket business, you call others, you share the risk and reinsure it. That's all about insurance. I believe in a few years to come, they will understand the damage that they have done to Nigerian investors in the insurance sector. Because the fact remains that if you are forcing recapitalization, the professionals in that company will want to save their job and jobs. That is why you are seeing South Africa and all these people taking over the landscape of insurance company in this country. How many Nigerian companies were allowed to establish such thing in South Africa? So, the NICOM itself, they are out of tune entirely. We are suffering today. We love LUR, but we have no choice. The companies, the management of the company and directors do not want a disgrace where the company will be asked, the license of the company will be withdrawn. And in so doing, we will lose everything that we have there. And I'm quite sure that is why they have to go into this kind of arrangement, to save the company. But Nikon is there, feeling that they are actually regulating without knowing that they are actually losing grip, transferring what should be a future of this company into foreign hands and other people. I read these boys that came to LUR with $200 million. They are rampaging everywhere. A few years ago, we kicked against Nigerian Stock Exchange, relegating most of these companies, which of course affected mostly the insurance company, that they can go as much as one kobo. That is the beginning of the problem of insurance companies in this country. We know that the future will judge both the advisors of Nigerian Stock Exchange, the advisors of Security and Exchange Commission, and individuals that advise them against that. So we are very sorry about the future of insurance company in this country. When it eventually gets into the hands of foreigners, then that is when we will understand the damage we have caused. And of course, most of the shareholders will not, I'm sure majority of them will not send any goodwill to NICOM and those who are buying. Rather, they'll be placing curses on them. My advice to Nigerians now is very clear. Any Nigerian insurance company is where we should take our patronage to. That's very clear. The foreigners will work, but it will never be in the interest of Nigerians, because they want to take away whatever they can make from the country. Whereas the Nigerian insurance companies will strive hard to ensure that they develop the country. So those who will be picking up insurance policies should look very clearly and patronize those insurance companies that will be Nigerian insurance companies, so that we can grow that and show them that by spirit and practice, we are with them. Mr. Chairman, I'm sure you are not happy on today's meeting, which is sealing off 51 years old investment of presently of Nigerians to another hand, that you don't know where this company will be in another 5 years, whether it will also be sold off or nobody knows that. But I sympathize with you, with your team, for the effort you have done to convince us that that is the only way to go. But I'm also not happy that despite making almost 900 million naira before tax, that no kobo was approved to those who are leaving the company as final dividend. And that is where you now see capitalists in action. The boys who are coming do not care about that as far as they are concerned. But I do not know whether you did recommend and they say no, or you decided not to recommend. But the best thing that could have happened is for Nigerian shareholders to have an exit dividend while leaving. If nothing else, that would be what they will be talking, that when this company was to be sold to another owners, they got this dividend. 900 and something from 200 and something million. I think we did not do well. We have actually behaved like a very wicked board to Nigerian shareholders, which is not good at all. After all, we are going to go with 1 naira 23 kobo. At the time this was consummated, the price of the share was about 97 kobo. So what have we gained from it? 1 naira 23 over 97 kobo. So that's about 26, if I'm right, 26 kobo. That's the only value given to us, despite the fact that some people brought down the nominal value can go down to 1 kobo without any law backing it up. And that's what we are seeing in a world of capitalists. So that I don't have anybody to blame other than Nigerian Stock Exchange, Security and Exchange Commission, that failed to protect the minority shareholders. Mr. Chairman, maybe at the court-ordered meeting, we'll have more to say, because that is when the company will be parting ways with us. I also want to appeal to you that whatever you intend to give to us as consideration should be given to us as quickly as possible. Because every day that passes, the naira continues to devalue itself, so that we can use that money to do whatever we want to do with it. So it's very, very important. I wish you best of luck, because for me, it's not your fault. The major fault is on NICOM, Stock Exchange, and Security and Exchange Commission, who do not have any consideration for the poor minority shareholders. Otherwise, they can stop this and say, okay, do your recapitalization in phases. Do your recapitalization in phases. We stand to lose if there's a big ticket by bringing in more people to join us in executing the big ticket. So, Mr. Chairman, that's my comment. I want to thank you for giving me the right to shoot first on this very ugly day. It's an ugly day because that is the day we are parting ways with LUR. God bless every one of you, and God bless the shareholders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other question or comment, please? Sir Boniface Okeze.
Chairman of Union Rock PLC, distinguished directors, fellow distinguished shareholders. Good morning. My name is Okeze Boniface. Mr. Chairman, like the first speaker, my elder brother, alluded to, this is a parting meeting for the shareholders of LUR. Last meeting. Mr. Chairman, it's very unfortunate that so-called regulators have become a disaster to us in this country. We don't have regulators. We don't have. That's the problem. From SEC, the CBN, the NOSC, which is self-regulatory, Nikon, that disaster, failure. That's failures in this country. That's the bone of contention. In the scheme of arrangement, we are talking about, investor protection. It's a scam. There's nothing like that. Investor protection, there's nothing like that. It's a scam. How many have they protected? A lot of rot in the system. And that's what we are seeing today, including the EFCC. What are we talking about in this country? Nigeria needs restructuring. In every segment, we need total restructuring. Unfortunately, those who were elected at the state National Assembly are not making any law. They are going there to fit their own nets. That's what we are having in this country. There's no law. Even the Cabinet have made it to the so full of controversies. The interests of common man have not taken into consideration. It's very unfortunate. Since you came on board, you have tried your best to represent this company. And the MD, Mr. Dedura, I want to give it to him. The management have done their best. And I thank God that those who are coming to take over this company are not taking the carcass. That's the joy, that's the beauty. Because they have built this company excellently. We paid dividend, I think last year we got dividend. Last 2 years, I'll come back to profitability and paying dividend. Because if you have remained allowed to remain in the market, without this obnoxious recapitalization, there's nowhere. I think we could have been paid dividend. We made a profit this year more than the previous last year. And which I complained, we should have had a dividend, a parting dividend, to go from it, But because you want to have some more level of, bargaining, I don't quarrel. 1 night to interact, you have already bargained, and that with the board and management. Who would have gotten more than that, or 150 to depart? But that is what you can negotiate. But thank you for Aviation Insurance. What is it today? We didn't have any cover from there. And the same NICOM that regulated Aviation Insurance, unable to recapitalize. It's not that the company didn't have any money. The property, whatever they have, where is it today? If the company have gone to liquidations, you should sell the assets and do whatever you have to pay depositors. Then the remaining shareholder of that company. Aviation Insurance, I challenge Nikon and many other insurance that have gone down today. Where was fed of shareholders? That's the truth. Even if you have a Nikon like depositors in a bank, customers, if you don't pay a claim, you didn't pay for a claim. If anything happened or the company is going down, would you have anything? Answer is no, because the money you pay in there, that will get something. But the shareholder of those insurance should have been considered first. Because the customer come, he didn't pay claim, he didn't pay the premium, you don't get anything when the company is exiting. So I challenge Nikon to give us update of Aviation Insurance and many others. What kind of Nikon insurance are we having today? What kind of regulator are we having? Mr. Chairman, in the last 2 years, you are paying about, on page 102, 174.13 million to supervisory of nothing, to Nikon. That's what you pay. To Nikon, supervising what? What they have they done to take away this money? In page 102, look at it there. Money we pay to the Nikon for doing nothing. For doing nothing. Supervisory. What are they supervising? What do we pay? They're just looting. Taking away and filling their own nets. Doing very well. The ordinary common man are one suffering from their inability to do something. Mr. Chairman, is very unfortunate. You make profit, go to page 5. There's a profit. Who made a good profit this year? 2019 the consideration. Profit taxation, 802 million. As against 263. So, you're earning 18.69. We should have dividend there. When the exchange came up that policy, we kick against it. 3 or 4 that are here, we kick against it. Who were the meeting? Bringing up down the power value to 20 kobo. We kick against it. I said this will create room for people, money back, to come and take insurance company. What is the Nikon doing? Did they kick against it? Did they kick against it? When you had not amended the law of karma, was not amended. Every company that registered in Nigeria is 50 power value. And you bring every company that registered below the power value. So-called useless regulators never kick against it. What kind of country is this? Are we operating? Mr. Chairman, your integrity and is recognized. You have done it excellent, even when you're a minister. The power that we didn't like was going, you resigned. But how many of them have resigned today in regulatory? Apart if you can't do the job. You have not done it as a minister. Every bother going to do everything. You go and make a wish for madam in the house and get a court minister. They are not in the Nigeria. God, what they will get. How many cars would the company have given to you as a chairman or some of the directors when you come on board? But you are putting your hard-earned money to come here to restructure this company, position it. Many today will not get some investors. That's the truth. Because the way they are. But we're able to pass something for a shareholder to go home to negotiate that, because the company is still healthy. And that's why you can attract the investors who will come and jump into Union Rock. That's the truth. So like my brother Les said, and I join him, we wish the company well, at least the workforce are most important. We are concerned. So they don't be thrown into a labor market. You have done that, but we will return. But at the end of the day, those who are coming in will also reappraise them. Based on their performance, they will return them. But that's the most important thing. They must return those workforce. We don't want to see that the workers who are performed very well, who are done well, they are no result of theirs or fault of theirs, will be thrown into the street to go and look for a job. And will be not happy with that. And the Union Rock, the name is also a value thing that people should consider, not changing quickly. If that name will serve them well, will attract customer for them, they should also to retain it. But that's their own prerogative to know whether we are going with Union Rock or not. That's their business. But I believe that things should not be, are destroyed overnight. They should be able to rebuild this company so that Nigeria will continue, because they are Nigerians who are coming in. It's not for South Africa, so that we can still able to do business with this company, because we are parting in a good note. I think we are seeing something savaging to get home with. That's our own happiness and joy. 1.23 kobo is too small, but it's better than none. Like the one I said, who cannot get 1 kobo out of it, So I want to wish the management aboard very good way wherever they are going. Make sure that this company stand the test of time, wherever it goes, God bless all of us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Our brother, Saluna Awo, please.
The chairman.
Yes, sir.
Other members of the board, very distinguished fellow shareholders, especially for the over 12,000 other shareholders who are not physically here. Mr. Chairman, let me share a true life story with you, because that itself is basically going to indicate my position as it relates to this meeting. And interestingly, it's also good that we have a full complement of the board. And in the full complement, there are also 3 women. There was a marriage. The man hardly get meals cooked for him, most times at the point of starvation. And then it got so bad, the man said, okay, I want to leave this marriage. But his people will say, no, you can't leave because it doesn't run in our family. But the woman was bold enough, went to court and said, look, I've had enough of this marriage. And interestingly, on the day that they were going to have the dissolution of the marriage, the woman was so gorgeously dressed and he walked up to the man, how do I look? And the man said, what is my business? You are soon going to be somebody else's property. So why bother myself with how you look? So that is going to be my position, and I'm sure that the women will understand why that is also going to be my position. What is my business with what the account looks like? Anybody who is saying anything, probably. So I'm not going to talk about the account because it's not absolutely unnecessary. It will be sheer waste of time, in particular my own time, and I consider the time as valuable. However, I find that this is one of the few companies that has massive presentation of unclaimed dividend by name. 39 pages of unclaimed dividend, 138 to 177. But I've combed through this account severally. I can't find any disclosure as to the unclaimed. And the reason I'm talking about unclaimed, even if the marriage is not going to work thereafter, there are some aspect of the marriage or the product of the marriage that needs to be protected. And in this instance, is the minority shareholders. By the way, I will want you to confirm when last the company paid dividend. That's why I don't complicate matters. But in all of that, nowhere in this account the issue of unclaimed dividend stated. So what is the total amount in unclaimed dividend? And the reason I ask this is that, yes, you say that the new buyer is going to pay X amount of money. The way our laws are crafted now, after 12 years, the money goes to the company. So the person who is come to buy is like somebody who has bought a car. Because the car had for sale when he was on the road driving to work, the man wants to buy the car and buy the driver. Huh? We shouldn't allow the new buyer to buy the car and buy the driver, because that will not be a fair deal. So it's important that you disclose to us how much we have in unclaimed dividend and what we are going to do as a company before and after to make sure that the minority whose dividends have remained unclaimed is again not taken away by the new buyer. I also listened attentively to the two speakers before me. And one of the things I've learned growing up is that you don't put your responsibility on other persons. Yes, NICOM does not even understand what investment is all about. They think that insurance is insurance. They haven't since realized that insurance is investment. So, before I come to what I think we also need to do, it's important to remind NICOM that they have 4 companies currently that they appointed boards for. And interestingly, none of the companies that they appointed boards for that are listed on any of the exchanges has been able to provide their account up to date. Which means that NICOM itself does not even understand this rule. You appoint a role of people who go every month to go and sit down and collect sitting allowance, and then you say you are a regulator. That is not the only challenge. Part of the challenge that has now been pushed as a responsibility to the shareholder is the late approval of accounts. The industry today, the insurance company is the most disrespected in terms of promptness of release of information. So if I'm an investor and I don't have a report, how do I track what you are doing? How? And then NICOM sits down there and says, oh, we are a regulator. NICOM does not even have enough accountants to be able to audit the accounts that they're talking about. And when we expect that as a forward-looking and proactive organization, that you will put the liability and responsibility on the audit firm. This is the guideline for you to approve the account. Whatever you send to us, we'll approve. However, if we find anything contrary to this, we'll deal with you as the auditors. That will make life better for everybody. Go and check on the Nigerian Stock Exchange today how many companies in the insurance subsector who have not released their account. And because we also have that monitoring. Yes, in as much as we also blame the regulator, and in this instance, NICOM, I also think that going forward, the Nigerian investor themselves needs to wise up. It's not sufficient for you, you've put money there. If not for COVID, this place will have been full, and all we'll be asking for is, what are you going to give us? It doesn't make sense. And I also want to say that even some leaders of associations have not helped matters, because even their understanding of this business is that all of us must take responsibility in making sure that we protect our investment. And because, like I said, it's easy for you to say, oh, somebody is responsible, and then I have a house. Armed robbers have come, and I said, because there is police, I call police. Meanwhile, the house does not have a window, neither does it have a protector. The door is open, the roof is leaking, they can come in from anywhere. Certainly, the armed robbers will come, finish the operation and gone before police will arrive. So the key responsibility is that as shareholders, we must take on the board and management. We must. If we just think they can come because there is a board, then we all will continue to be in trouble. Again, I want to thank you for presiding over this divorce ceremony, and that is why I'm in my best. You can see the color is shining. So at least, even if you take another husband, you remember that the day we separated, despite I was better dressed than you are. Thank you very much.
That concludes the comments or questions. Is there any other question or comments on the financial statement or the chairman's statement? Oh, sorry. Chief Timothy Adesina.
The chairman,
yes, sir.
Members of the board of Law, Union and Rock, distinguished fellow shareholders, both here and those watching us through virtual connections. I say good morning. My name is Chief Timothy Adesina, the immediate past president of Nigerian Shareholders Solidarity Association. I very much appreciate the efforts of the board and the directors of this company. Why do I appreciate them? I appreciate them on the basis of ubrae fidei, utmost good faith. We are taking whatever you are telling us in good faith, and we appreciate the efforts you have made so far in bringing the company alive. For instance, the profit before tax was 935.490 million this year, and the previous year it was 802.7. One would think that the company would continue to progress, and I am having the feeling that while we may be crying Hosanna today, tomorrow we may be crying crucifying, based on what we have read through in this annual report. I would like to refer you to the very two last paragraphs of page 4 of this annual report. It reads thus: in line with the recent recapitalization directive by NICOM, We are currently at advanced stages and are confident we can conclude the recapitalization before the prescribed deadline by our regulator. We also continue to improve service delivery through upgrades to our technology platforms. In the end, we aim to emerge as the fully technology-enabled insurer with world's best technology solutions and practices. Far. Even if this is accomplished, we are not going to benefit from it. So what is our headache? The only thing we are sorry for is the efforts which the directors and the staff have put in to bake these cakes and to get this red company in the proper shape whereby it becomes attractive to the cyber fraudsters. Because the people taking over, I don't know where they are coming from, but the name we shareholders, minority shareholders, we call them, is just that. Because we are not telling them we are tired of our company. So, why I say we are happy with the board of directors is that they have been able to at least hold on to the company and don't allow it to fall to 20 kobo or 0 before they call us to come and take our money. We shall take our money, and we want you to pray for us that we shall be able to invest them in some other profitable ventures. Boa Cement is there now. I'm just reminding my fellow shareholders. MTN is there. Dangote Cement is there. We have enough to invest our money on. But the way you are throwing us out is what we are not very happy about. But we appreciate the efforts you have made to at least make sure that you did not throw away the water with the baby inside it. We pray for you all that your next endeavors shall be blessed, and those of you that will still continue to look for employment elsewhere, God will direct you to the right path. I cannot at this stage fail to recognize my childhood friend on your board, Mr. Kunle Aluko, who we have been together since 1964. And I know anything that is treacherous, he will never put his hands into it. But coming into this company, he has burnt his fingers. And we are praying that those of you that are still within the employment group will meet God's mercies, and the grace of God shall be with all of us. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Chief Timothy Adesina, we appreciate you. I believe that we've come to the end of the questions and comments, so let me just give very brief response to some of the questions and comments. Interestingly, most of the questions and comments border on the fact that what's the need for us? Even if I comment on the account, am I going to benefit afterwards? but there is what we call public good. What's the legacy that we want to leave behind us? What do we want history to say about us? It's not just about money today. It's also about tomorrow. And that's why we appreciate all the questions that have been asked. It's about stewardship. It's about accountability for the board and management and also the staff of Union Rock Insurance Plc. Therefore, I will start the response to the questions from the first one by Sanwo-So on the fact that we are not paying any dividend this year and that the price of £123 per share is not too far off from the price that it was on the day of the announcement. Even though a lot of questions will also be taken during the court-ordered meeting, but let me situate it very clearly. It is really not ideal professionally to pay cash dividends in a year of capital decision. As we speak, in the United Kingdom, when the COVID-19 pandemic struck, the regulator, the banking industry regulator, actually worked with the financial institutions in UK and made them to understand why they should not pay as much dividends. The whole essence was that if there is a storm, you try to strengthen your house. When they tell you that a storm is coming, what people normally do is to go and buy plank and block your window and block everything. That's the whole essence. This particular one, and don't forget, this is a board that was opportune to have the former ICANN president on the board, and we currently have the current ICANN president as well. We have so many fellows. The managing director is an FCA. We have so many other FCAs on the board. Therefore, even if you are not paying dividends, you need to believe us that we will have factored that one into the negotiation for the price. That's the honest truth in terms of if we pay dividends, that means that it will have backed out, because naturally there are a lot of things that go into price determination. On the issue about the price of £1.23 per share, and that it was not too far off. From our own research and analysis, the average price of LUR in the last 5 years, the average price, the share price, has been 65 kobo per share in the last 5 years. And before we started the negotiation with the prospective buyer, the price did not go far beyond that. It was when we are actually having the meeting that the price started going up. And the day that we made the announcement, that was when the price was now moving to around 90 kobo. If you look at the premium between £123 and the 65-5-year average price, it's over 89% premium. And we believe it is a very, very good price and a very great investment in terms of the capitalization and the future for the company, most importantly for the future of the company. Mr. Boniface Okeze asked a lot of questions about the parting of the ways, which is also supported by Mr. Nona Awo. It is not, I don't want us to feel as if it's the last supper. I want us to look at it as it is that we are sowing the seed for greater things to happen. Because if the company becomes bigger and better, it will actually benefit Nigerians, it will benefit the staff, it will benefit the economy. That's the way that we want to look at it. And I like what Sir Boniface Okeze said in terms of the staffing and the fact that there would not be any disengagement. Those are some of the things that we negotiated with the prospective buyer of the company. In terms of unclaimed dividends, we make bold that not only that we have it on our website, we actually publish it every now and then. And obviously, you ask for the specific figure. The specific figure is 95.8 million as at 31st December 2019. 95.8 million as at 31st December 2019. The money does not belong to the company. Therefore, nobody is buying the car and the driver. I can assure you that. In the financial statement, people always ask the question, why don't I see the dividend, the unclaimed dividend in the financial statement? Until when the money is paid to the shareholders, the money normally will be invested. So what is done is that it is actually backed out of that related investment. So if you have invested 500 million, out of that 500 million, 95.8 million is not your own. So you back it out. So what you see in the financial statement will actually be 404 million. So the 95.8 million will not be there. That's the way that is accounted for. Don't forget that even banks that have disappeared in the system, that were listed, years after, people are still collecting their unclaimed dividend because it doesn't sit with the company. The money does not sit with the company. Every time that we keep on begging and looking for the shareholders to actually, to make necessary documentation in order to collect their unclaimed dividends. So the unclaimed dividends does not belong to the new buyers. I need to be very clear about that. And also for Mr. Nuna, you talked about the shareholder groups. I need to let the public be aware that we are very indebted to the shareholder groups. If I show you the kind of report that we get from some of the shareholder groups, it's almost tantamount to what we call the management letter from the external auditors. When we send our audited accounts to the various shareholders, the shareholder groups will scrutinize the audited financial statements, and then they will write to the board and the management, asking a lot of questions about all the figures, more than 10 pages every year, and we have to respond to all of them one by one. So it's not just a matter of people just come for AGM. Before the AGM, a lot of discussions, a lot of deliberations. Actually, it's when we cannot satisfy them, they now come to the board, to the AGM, and raise some of those questions. Some of the other ones that we have been able to respond to them and to explain how and why and what, they don't bother to raise it at the AGM meetings. For Chief Timothy Adesina, you also talk about the disengagement and the dividends and the share price. The honest truth is that we are still going to discuss a lot at the court-ordered meeting. But if you look at all the listed insurance companies on the exchange today, how many of those insurance companies that are on general are actually up to ₦1 per share? How many? The honest truth in terms of the value that we've added, when we took over the company 8 years ago, the balance sheet, the cash we have on the balance sheet of this company today is more than double the balance sheet of the company that we inherited. The cash alone on the balance sheet today. And despite that, how much was the share price on the stock exchange before we got a buyer? So the honest truth is that the insurance industry needs a lot of work to be done by all parties. The shareholder groups, all the shareholders, the board, the operators, the management, and the regulators. A lot of things need to happen to actually the insurance industry. And we believe if we have big, strong, few insurance companies, they will be able to make more rigorous demand from the regulator. That's the honest truth. Because they will have much impact than when you control 2-3% of the market share. When you control 2-3% of the market share, you don't have a mouth. You don't have much presence. But if you control 10%, 15% of the market share, 3, 4, 5 companies just like what's happening in the banking industry today. When the regulator, irrespective of however powerful the regulator is, you need 5 banks to actually take a position against the regulator, and the regulator will have to have a rethink. But it's not the same way that we have in insurance. And also, we need to state categorically that we are not selling to foreign investors. We have said we are the company that is making that is the prospective buyer is Nigerian, is a domestic investor, and that same company has acquired some life companies from ARM and the company has acquired the Metro Life, and the same company has also acquired so many other companies. And the companies that they've acquired, we've seen that those companies are actually growing in leaps and bounds. So we are very, very comfortable with them. We are actually, we feel very honored that they consider Law Union and Rock, basically because of the integrity of the financials and the governance that is behind Law Union, that they consider it worthy of their acquisition. So we believe that the company is going to grow in leaps and bounds after the acquisition. That's why there are so many other people that wanted to actually get the company and just strip it and just bastardize the company. We weren't interested in that. We are actually looking at the posterity of the company, and that's what, and we believe that we got what we believe that will make the shareholders happy in terms of the price that we have for the per share for the company. So let's be rest assured that we are working in the best interest of the minority shareholders, minority interest, because it is the overarching objective of everything we are doing is what is in the best public interest. That's the resolution. I believe that I've been able to answer most of the relate to answer most of the questions. Before the resolutions, I will invite of the voting pads, because we are actually going to use the voting pads for our resolutions. The registrars, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're about commencing the voting session, and the voting sessions on the resolution shall be by poll. Voting devices have been circulated to members within the meeting before commencement of the meeting. And as we commence, you can press any button on your voting devices to power on your device. Now, for those voting for a resolution, you press the number 1 button on your voting device, and thereafter press the OK button to submit your votes. If you are voting against a resolution, you press the number 2 button, and thereafter press the OK key to submit your votes. And for those who wish to abstain from any resolution, you press the number 3 button, and thereafter press the OK key to submit your vote. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can you repeat the last, because I want them, everybody, can you repeat it, please?
For those voting for a resolution, you press the number 1 button on your voting device. After powering your voting devices on, any button can power the voting device on. As you vote for a resolution, press the number 1 button, and thereafter press the OK button to submit your vote. If you are voting against the resolution, you press the number 2 button, and thereafter press the OK button to submit your vote.
You're abstaining.
And if you're abstaining, you press the number 3 button, and thereafter press the OK button to submit your vote. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, the registrars. Thank you. Will someone propose that the audited financial statement and the auditor's report for the year ended 31st December 2019, together with the reports of the directors and the statutory audit committee's report, they are submitted to the meeting, be received and approved? Any proposals? Sir? No, I'm reading the... Yes, sir. I want somebody to move and then somebody will second it. I just read it out.
I would like to move. My name is Sir.
Thank you, sir. Will somebody please second the motion, sir? Chief Timothy Adeshinyan seconds the motion. I hereby call on the registrars to conduct a poll for the resolution, please. This is the time for us to now use our pad.
Distinguished shareholders, we are about commencing the vote. On the first resolution, to receive and approve the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2019, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee results thereon, Voting starts now. Voting ends now. Mr. Chairman, may I have your permission to display them?
Yes, please.
On the resolution to receive and approve the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2019, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee results thereon, we have 100% vote in favor of this resolution, amounting to 3,748,115,314 units of shares. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, the registrar. No dissenting vote. I declare the motion carried unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I raise an information?
Please.
Okay. You will recall that while I was to make my presentation, I recognized Bachelor J.K.
Yes.
And looking at page 42 of this annual report, they were supposed to present a report, even though this is a terminal meeting. But because they are being paid for that, they were supposed to present a report of board appraiser. And nobody has done that. And I recall that for a very long time, we have been asking boards and companies to tell us how much they are being paid for these services. Notwithstanding that, but I still believe that this report ought to have been presented. And it is here now. So we need to hear from them because they are being paid.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Muso. I can recall what has happened the last 4 AGMs. We brought Basharon J.K. Rando to the AGMs. We wanted that report to be presented. 3 times it was rejected that no, it should not be presented at the AGM. However, because normally when we engage them, it's actually board evaluation. It has been presented to the board. Now, the information has now been given and presented in our financial statement to the shareholders for their information. So the shareholders consistently decided that there was no need for that report to be presented like the auditor's report, but they demanded that it should be in the annual report. That's why it's in the annual report, sir. So it is okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Item number 2 on the agenda is the re-election of retiring directors. In accordance with section 259 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990 as amended, 1/3 or a number closest to 1/3 of the directors are required to retire at every AGM, and the retiring directors are eligible for re-election. We have Mrs. Funmi Ekundayo, Ms. Toyin Olusanya, and Mr. Kunle Aloko. They are due to retire by rotation, and being eligible are offering themselves for re-election. Their respective profiles, biographies, and records of attendance at board and committee meetings are contained on pages 27, 28, 30, 31, 36, and 37 of the annual report. Will someone propose that Mrs. Funmi Ekundayo, being eligible and having offered herself for re-election, be and hereby re-elected as a director of the company? Sir Okeze.
I propose and read by the chairman.
Thank you, sir. Will someone second the motion, please? Sabayo Adeleke. Thank you so much. I hereby call on the registrars to conduct a poll for the resolution.
On the resolution to re-elect Mrs. Funmi Ekundayo as a director, voting starts now.
You see the mistakes that all those mistakes, those are I've corrected. That's what I did.
Voting ends now. Mr. Chairman, may I have a permission to discuss?
Yes, please.
On the resolution to re-elect Mrs. Funmi Ekundayo as a director, we have 100% votes in favor of this resolution, amounting to 3,747,836,829 units of shares. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Based on the result of the poll, no dissenting vote, I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. The next person is Ms. Toyin Olusanya. Will someone propose that Ms. Toyin Olusanya, being eligible and having offered herself for re-election, be and hereby re-elected as a director of the company? Anybody? Mr. Bayo Adeleke. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Any seconder, please? Sir Saninwoso. Thank you so much. I hereby call on the registrars to conduct a poll for this resolution.
On the resolution to re-elect Ms. Toyin Olusanya as a director, voting starts now. Voting ends now. Mr. Chairman, I have a permission for the results. On the resolution to re-elect Ms. Toyin Olusanya as a director, we have a 99.99% vote in favor of the resolution, amounting to 3,747,786,073 units of shares. We also have 278,485 units abstaining from the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, registrars. Based on the result of the poll, we have majority of 99.99%. I declare the motion carried. Thank you so much. Will somebody propose that Mr. Aloko, being eligible and having offered himself for re-election, be and hereby re-elected as a director of the company? Mr. Kunle Aloko. You can sit down, sir, please. You can sit down while you have. We are giving him special privileges. Thank you, sir. It has been, the proposer is Chief Timothy Adesina. Seconder is, thank you, sir, Boniface Okeze. When he gets to the age, I will do so. I hereby call on the registrars to conduct a poll for the resolution.
On the resolution to re-elect Mr. Kunle Aloko as a director, voting starts now. Voting ends now. Mr. Chairman, you have the permission for this.
Yes, please.
On the resolution to re-elect Mr. Kunle Aloko as a director, we have 100% votes in favor of the resolution, amounting to 3,748,115,314 units of shares. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Based on the results of the poll, no dissenting vote, I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you so much. Thank you, our distinguished shareholders. The next item on the agenda is item of Deloitte and Touche as the external auditors. Narration. We hereby present the firm of Deloitte and Touche for reappointment as external auditors and also request you to authorize directors to fix the firm's remuneration. Will someone propose that the firm of Deloitte and Touche be reappointed as the company's external auditors and that the directors be authorized to fix the firm's remuneration? Yes, sir.
except an auditor is, a new auditor is brought in and is being ratified by the shareholder. What we need to do is the other aspect, we won't reappointment of the auditor, but authorize the directors
to fix the remuneration. Okay, thank you, sir. Move the, yes, sir. From amendment first. Yes, that's for the amendment. Okay, and seconded, okay. Any, there's none. So I believe that is carried. Do we need to do a poll for that? We need to. That's why. Do you want to also do a poll for that?
No.
Okay. So since you are the one that raised it, because it's actually in the notice. It's actually in the notice. So why don't you then move for the proposal that the firm of Deloitte and remuneration as the item now? And any seconder? Now I call on the registrar to conduct a poll for our auditors, Deloitte and Touch, and for the directors to authorize the firm's remuneration. Please.
On the resolution to appoint the firm Deloitte and Touch as external auditors and authorize directors to fix remuneration of the auditors so appointed, voting starts now. Voting ends now. I have a permission for the result, please.
Yes, please.
On the resolution to reappoint the firm Deloitte and Touch as external auditors and to authorize directors to fix remuneration of auditors so appointed, we have a 99.99% vote in favor of this resolution, amounting to 3,747,786,073 units of shares. We also have a 278,485 units abstaining from this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, the registrars. Based on the results of the poll, we have a majority result. So it is carried. I declare the motion carried by majority vote. Thank you. The next item is the election or re-election of members of the Statutory Audit Committee. In accordance with Section 359 subsection 4 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990 as amended, members of the Audit Committee are subject to re-election annually, and the Audit Committee shall consist of an equal number of representatives of directors and shareholders. I call upon the Company Secretary to report on shareholders' nominees to the Audit Committee. Company Secretary, please.
Thank you, Chairman. So we confirm receipt of the following nomination of following shareholders. 1, Mr. Adeshino Tajuddin Imram, Mr. Sani Abdul Kadri Idowu, Mr. Vitalis Anyam, Mr. Iwebe Alex Ifemena, and Mrs. Otoro Lehi Okezie Victoria. But subsequently, we received withdrawal notices from Mr. Iwebe Alex and Mr. Otoro Lehi. So we just have the current members of the Statutory Audit Committee. So we have the normal 3. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Company Secretary. I hereby move a motion that Mr. Adeshino Tajuddin Imran, Mr. Sani Abdulkadri Idowu, Mr. Vitalis Anyam, nominated by shareholders, Ms. Toyin Olusanya and Mr. Folarin Familusi, nominated by the Board of Directors, hereby form Statutory Audit Committee for the year 2020. The new Camera has changed from 6 now to 5, and that's why we limited the representative from the company to 2 instead of 3. Ordinarily, we will have added 3. Yes, please. So, are we saying that it's not law yet now, as of today?
It's not been.
Okay. So, let's therefore add our representative, Obina Ono,
as nominated by the Board of Directors,
forming the statutory audit committee for the year 2020. Will someone second
the motion,
please? You can sit down, sir. Thank you, sir. Chief Timothy Adesina has seconded the motion. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal business of the meeting. I therefore declare the 2019 Annual General Meeting of Union Rock Insurance Plc closed. May we have the closing prayer by Shareholder, after which we shall sing the national anthem. Who wants to give us the closing prayer? Pastor Bayo Adeleke, please.
Thank you. Let us pray.
Thank you.
Our eternal rock of ages, we want to bless your holy name for the opportunity we have had to deliberate on the affairs of our company, Union Rock PLC. I want to thank you because in spite of the difficulties, it's been a very good year for the company. I want to thank you for the wisdom you have granted to the chairman and the directors and all the shareholders, those who are physically present and those who join us online. And we thank you for bringing this particular proceeding to a successful end, and we return all the glory to you. As we go, we pray that you hold our footsteps aright, and that your presence will continue to be with the board, management staff, shareholders, and all our stakeholders. And the current year, King of Glory, you will be merciful unto us.
Amen.
And you will move this company to greater heights. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. National anthem, please.